want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. We're excited to get started, and just to introduce myself, my name is Tabitha, and I'm an admissions representative on behalf of George Mason for the MSCS program. And I'm here as a resource to give information, answer any questions you might have, and walk you through the admissions application process if it's something you decide to move forward with, or if you've already started the process. I can help you with that. And I'm gonna go ahead with the agenda next. We do have a special guest with us. Um, so just to go over the agenda, um, we will be meeting our presenter, Dr. Rob Pettit, who will share some valuable information on the program with you. You'll find out why you should choose GMU's computer science degree, while taking a closer look at the curriculum and learning about career opportunities. In addition to that, we're going to learn about the admissions requirements and end with a Q&A session. So highly encourage your participation and appreciate you being here. These are my favorite nights where you get to really learn about the program and ask the experts. We, as admissions representatives, know a lot, but you ask some questions that we are just not sure about. So the experts here tonight for you. So feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we will be addressing those at the end. And with, oh, sorry, my mouse is just jumping around tonight. So just want to go over a few housekeeping rules here. Feel free to use the Q&A box to ask your questions during the session. That's what it's here for, is to get those questions out, and we would love to get those answered. You are welcome to raise your hand if you have a question as well, and use the chat box if you would like to. It's there. Y'all know how to use it. Y'all are the experts here that are, I love getting to host this one because y'all know what you're doing more than I do. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our special guest tonight. I have Dr. Rob Pettit, and I would like to thank him so much for joining us tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to him.
All right. Welcome, everybody, and thank you, Tabitha. So I am Rob Pettit. I am the Associate Chair for Graduate Studies at George Mason's Computer Science Department. I'm also the Program Director of our online MSCS program. Beyond that, this is now my fun job. I retired in 2021 after 30 years in the aerospace industry as a practicing software engineer. And I've taught for years as an adjunct, and this is what I love to do at this stage. So now I can. And I'm also pretty particular about George Mason. I have my master's and PhD from George Mason, my master's in software engineering, PhD in computer science. And as of this coming May, we'll have 5 Mason degrees in the family. So I keep joking that, buy 5, get 6 free. Hasn't happened yet, but I can keep trying. Cool. So I am well versed in George Mason as a student and a professor. So welcome, everybody. I really appreciate you joining us and appreciate your interest. And I'll talk a little bit about our program. So go ahead to the next slide. So, excuse me. So in terms of our online program, there are some things that definitely set us apart from other online programs. And ours is relatively new. I forget exactly which year we started it, but shortly after I hired on to Mason, we ramped up this online version of our Master of Science in Computer Science. And some things, if you all have shopped around, you've probably seen a various amount of different modalities and methodologies for approaching the online MSCS. A few things that were really big sticking points with us that we wanted to maintain. One is that the courses that we offer, they are a subset of the vast number of courses we have in Fairfax, but they are the courses that you see are these same courses. These are the same materials. These are the same syllabi. They are developed by our own George Mason professors. They are taught by our own George Mason professors. So the content is the same, the admissions criteria is the same. You are getting the same MSCS degree for your money. And I need to put another box in here also, because one of the things that we've discovered recently, looking at, I won't name names, but other schools that offer online programs often will just record a whole lecture and put 1,000 people into those classes, and then it's kind of on you to figure out how to work that pace. Ours are not that. The most you're going to see in one of our online courses is capped at roughly 100. Most are not that high. We cap some of our more popular ones at about 100, but that's about it. And you will have full access to that professor. Sure, they will have GTAs, but the GTAs are not the ones teaching it. It is the professor. And you do not have to sit through, 160-minute lecture on video. Our courses have nice, for lack of a technical term, chunking of the material. So the videos that you'll see in the sections that use videos, they're only going to be 15, 20 minutes on average, with a lot of other material on there. And then the professors will also hold office hours at some point where you can check in. Those are also recorded if you can't make it. So that really does set us apart from many of the other online programs that I've seen. Also, if you grew up in the area, you may not be aware of the extreme growth that George Mason has had as a university itself, and as the computer science department. We are the largest program in the state of Virginia, one of the largest in the country. U.S. News and World Report puts us in the top 65 best computer science schools. We actually prefer the metrics-based ranking, csrankings.org. It's objective versus more subjective. And if you look at that, which is based on the strength of our faculty and our program and research, we are number 30, 31, 32, depending on the year. Excuse me. So it is a very strong, very well-respected program. We have lots of industry ties in Northern Virginia. As I said, I'm one of those, and my Mason degrees served me well for many, many years. So go ahead to the next slide, please. So in terms of the online courses, again, this is a subset of the full spectrum of courses we offer in Fairfax. But the way that the MSCS works, we have for the online program, we kind of broke it down into these areas. We have 12 credit hours, and each course, when I talk about credit hours, each course in our graduate curriculum is 3 credit hours. So 12 credits or 4 courses of theoretical computer science. And the breakdown for that would be CS 530, which is the mathematical foundations. You've got your algorithms class. Systems isn't really theory as we would classify it in Fairfax, but for the sake of this chart, it fits. It's really more low-level computer systems. And then the Intro to Artificial Intelligence class. So those are required. And then the MSCS also requires a set of advanced courses, specifically 4 advanced courses from 2 different areas, breadth areas. And for the online course, or the online program, we have 3 of our software engineering classes, software engineering for the World Wide Web, user interface, software testing, and then an advanced CS class with computer vision, all offered online. Then That's 24. You need 30 credits or 10 classes total for the master's. And your remaining classes are chosen from what you see down below here. You've got systems and networking class, you've got a database class, visual computing, and then two other software engineering courses as well that you can choose from. We are starting, I think, fall of 24, putting an additional advanced algorithms course online. So we are continuing to look at this curriculum and where we can make time for our professors to develop these online courses. We will add them as we can. So it does become a bit of a resource issue because we have so many students that we have to teach, and so whatever the professors are developing the online courses, they have to take time out of their teaching to do that, since it is the same people that are making these online courses. So that's the curriculum in a nutshell. I don't see any questions yet, so let's go on to the next slide.
That's really good to hear, though, that they're looking at adding more courses, and you're always in tune to that. That's great to hear.
And not only do we look forward to adding new courses where we can, but we also are looking at when courses need to be refreshed. Now, a lot of the material in these courses is solid material that's not going to change at a rapid pace, but as they do, we are taking stock of those courses and do have a process in place to keep the courses fresh. All right, so we can go on to the next slide. In terms of learning outcomes, I don't know that I need to sell you on this. You're already here. You already presumably have a bachelor's or some undergraduate background in computer science, and you're probably acutely aware of what they pay us in Northern Virginia. But these are current averages, and I think these are nationwide averages now for master's degree positions in computer science. So the nationwide average of a master's prepared computer scientist is over 200,000 now. The software architect, I think, is a bit low on that average. In Northern Virginia, I think that's higher. Same with software engineer. So again, I think these are nationwide averages. Even as funky as the job market is right now, there's still no end in sight to the growth in computer science-based careers. I think we're still seeing some adjustments from the COVID era and the big companies figuring out what they need, but there are still plenty of jobs and really more jobs, I believe, at the graduate level than at the undergraduate. So I really have not heard of any issues with at least U.S. citizens having trouble finding jobs with their master's in computer science. That's just really not going to happen. All right, next slide.
That's good news to hear.
And honestly, that's why I moved from Kentucky to Northern Virginia. The Northern Virginia market, I believe we are ranked second in the world for tech jobs in Northern Virginia.
That's good to know. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's great.
And for anybody, let's see, I guess Ryan's the only one that's kind of close to Loudoun County. Nobody actually in Loudoun County, but approximately 90% of the internet runs through Loudoun County right now, with all the data centers. So in terms of admissions, the admissions process is fairly streamlined. You need a bachelor's degree, preferably in computer science, although if it's in something related, as long as you have these prerequisite courses. You need a data structures course with algorithms. Sometimes those are two separate courses, sometimes that's one course. We will look at that. You need a formal methods course that could be called Theory of Computing or Automata Theory in Formal Languages. There's several titles that apply. If you're looking for the George Mason specific, that would be CS 330 for automata, um, CS 310 for data structures. Uh, Calculus 1 and 2, we kind of assume that. Uh, and it's not even so much that you need to apply calculus. I mean, goodness help me if I had to apply calculus. I haven't done it in many years now, but it's more to the point of it trains your brain for that type of mathematical thinking, and that's really what we require um, through Calc 2. Now, if you go on to we don't have it in the online program yet, but if you were in Fairfax and going on to the machine learning courses, now that you would use your calculus knowledge and then some. But let's see, back to where I was. Data structures, automata theory, computer architecture that includes assembly language and a discrete math course. Um, and I missed it when I reviewed these, but we should also cover object-oriented programming. That should be a given for your bachelor's, but we do expect you to come in knowing how to not knowing how to write software in an object-oriented language. We don't really care what language that is. It could be Java, it could be C++, but the concepts are there. So that's your bachelor's. From there, we need your transcripts. We need a personal statement. Just tell us why you're interested in this program. What are your plans? It basically gives us a writing sample to add to the holistic approach for admissions, and then a current resume. Nothing too terrible. We don't ask for letters of recommendation anymore. We found that those really don't matter, because if somebody was willing to give you a recommendation, it's probably going to be good anyway. So those were just an extra hurdle that we didn't think was necessary anymore, and we've actually removed that from our regular MSCS program as well. Again, these admissions requirements that you see here are the exact same admissions requirements for the on-ground MSCS in Fairfax. And one of the reasons that we held the line on that is that we don't want anybody to ever be able to say that, oh, well, you went to the online program, that's lesser quality. No, that is absolutely false. This is the same quality as what you would get if you were in class in Fairfax. And speaking of that, if you do get through one or two semesters and you're thinking, well, I'd really like some of these other classes that are in Fairfax, you can do a one-time switch. It's called a change of campus form. Very simple. You just fill out the change of campus form. It goes to, I don't know who first, one of the advisors, and eventually makes its way to me. But that's really not a problem to do. So you could finish your degree in Fairfax after taking, 2, 3, 4 classes online if you wish to do so. And really the reason that you would want to consider that is you see some of the advanced courses that are offered on campus that are not necessarily offered online. So that is an option, and that again also sets us apart from any other online program that I know of. All right. Where are we on the slide? Is that the last one, or do we have one more?
Yeah, that we have one more slide, but that's good to know, because I've been asked that before, so that's great to know. Yeah. And if you don't mind, I'll pause here really quick, because this is kind of where well, this is where my team steps in, and helps you through this process. Just to give you a quick little update, if you don't know, spring applications are open, as well as fall, but the next term coming up is spring. starting in January. So me and my team are ready to help you with this process, through this process, and get your application over for Dr. Pettit and his team to review. So if you don't have an admissions representative that you're working with yet, the next slide will be for you. It'll be our information to reach out to us directly. But yeah, I'll go ahead and, if it's okay with you, switch to the next slide. We're ready for some questions and answers. So y'all feel free to put those in. That's what we're here for tonight. It's question and answer time. And here's our information I was talking about. Our direct our line, that's our main line, and that will get you to any one of us. And our email, and then the website as well. If you don't have someone that you're already working with, we will find someone to help you. So we love doing our job. So what questions do y'all have? We have the expert here. I have some for him if you don't. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Jonathan asked, can you take classes from different focus areas, or can you only take classes in one focus area to finish the last 6 credits?
So you're talking about slide 6, right? So
For your electives, that's what you're talking about, right, Jonathan? Like your elective areas?
so so
Yes.
co- so yes, you can choose which ones you take. They can be from any of those areas.
Great question. You're very welcome. All right, we have another question here. So an application's already been submitted, and told that an admission rep will reach out, but haven't heard anything yet. All right, call the number. So Maria, I am going to write your name down, and I promise I will reach out to you myself. I will find out. I know we have had some reps on vacation this last week. I'm not sure when you submitted your application, but we will make sure that somebody gets in touch with you. I know it usually takes a day to get to us, and then I know I've been reaching out to some of my people I've gotten the last day or two myself. You're not on my list because I don't recognize your name, but I will make sure that we find out who has been assigned to you. And if you haven't been assigned yet, I will talk to my director and make sure we do get you assigned to someone. And I promise somebody will be in touch with you ASAP. So thank you for checking on that. I wrote your name down, so I will check as soon as I get off of this webinar. What other questions do y'all have? Feel free. Don't be shy. That's what he's here for. I have one for you while we're waiting. That actually one of my team members wanted me to ask. So because we get this a lot, actually, not just for your program but for others. So we do have those prerequisites out there, and can someone that is still working on those prerequisites, so if they're in the middle of taking the prerequisite, can they still submit their application for review?
If they are finishing up with the last bit of their prerequisites, then yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a follow-up question too to that.
Okay.
How and I don't know if you I get this a lot. How long can it be since people have taken those prerequisites? Like, do you want them in the last 5 years?
They just updated that.
Okay.
I want to say it's 10 years.
Okay. Good to know,
But
because
I
get
can
asked
take
that
a
lot
note
too.
to double check that.
Yes.
But we literally a few weeks ago we had a meeting where they were going through some of the updated rules, and that was mentioned. And I want to say the answer was 10 years, but I will write a note.
Yeah, good. No, thank you. We get asked that a lot, not just for this program, but for others too. And another good question that that we get asked, and Maria has this question: can work experience substitute a prerequisite?
No, and I know a lot of people ask that. but we need the prerequisites to come from an actual accredited university. That way we maintain our academic standards. The only places that you see that accept work experience tend to be the for-profit um, universities. So you do have to be a bit careful with that because those degrees to employers can be a bit suspect.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. Yeah, we get asked that a lot too. Um, so I have another one. I told you I came prepared if people didn't have them. So if they just need one class to meet a prerequisite, can they take just that one class at George Mason?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, and I'll give you a longer answer. So if you're a U.S. citizen, we have flexibility. So with people that are U.S. citizens, we can offer what's called a provisional admission, meaning that we can say yes, we'll admit you if you take this extra course. Or we will admit you, maybe you're borderline on the GPA, we'll admit you if you um, take these specified master's courses in your first semester and score a B or better, for example. We can put those stipulations on your admission. For international students, U.S. regulations don't let us do that, so it's an all or nothing for international. But for U.S. citizens, we can have a little more flexibility in that. And that reminds me that brings up another good point. Um, Not only can you take those classes at George Mason, or you could take them at a community college if you can find them. Not all of our prerequisites are offered at community colleges. So if in doubt, please ask us because I know particularly for NOVA, there's been some misconceptions as to what the NOVA course mappings are. We have it on the George Mason website at some place, so you can look it up, but the ones that have just made assumptions, they're not always right, um, which is unfortunate. But we also have another program. It is currently on campus. We're in the process of discussing how to move forward, maybe with an online offering. But we do have a bridge program. So if you don't have a CS background and want to get into computer science through the master's programs, you can take this full certificate. It's called the Computing Foundations Bridge Certificate, and I think it's 12 credits that you would need to take, which cover those prerequisite classes at the graduate level. Or if you're just missing one, you can take those. And one of the nice things about the prefix is comp, C-O-M-P. So the comp classes are offered at night, just like our other regular on-campus graduate programs. So if you're working and just need this extra class to qualify for the online masters or the regular masters, you can apply to the comp certificate program and take whatever necessary courses are there. Or maybe if you're just missing one, reach out to us and go ahead and apply to the MSCS. And like I said, if you're a U.S. citizen, we can do provisional admission with that stipulation.
That's great information. Thank you. That's good to know. I get asked that a lot too. What other questions do you have? Anybody else out there? Well, we still have Dr. Petty, who was so gracious to give us his time tonight. Anybody else have anything? And if you think of anything that didn't get answered tonight, feel free to reach out to us and we'll work to get that answer for you. Maria, I've got you on my list to check on. If anybody doesn't have any final questions or anything, I really want to just thank everyone for attending this evening and thank Dr. Pettit for being here. We appreciate you taking the time for us. And
Well, it's my pleasure.
It's great to learn more about the program, and I know everybody out there appreciates as well. I just want to thank you each for taking the time out of your evening to join us, And we look forward to seeing those applications. And hope you have a great evening, everybody.